So the Transport Ministry has admitted that the ball was dropped and that flight procedures were long supposed to have been submitted to the Civil Aviation Authority for approval. So these procedures include flight details of takeoff and landings. Now those plans have to be submitted to the CAA by the 8th of April for approval. And if the CAA does not approve, there might be a problem.
If we land up in the worst case scenario where we don't have any extension, planes will be able to fly, but they will not be able to fly on instruments in bad weather. And I think what we all understand is that while pilots are extremely skilled and go through, is it hundreds or thousands of hours of training? Thousands of hours of training. The whole reason that technology has developed is so that we can enhance air safety. And I think that at all times, the Civil Aviation Authority, ATNS, and myself as the Minister responsible for transport want to prioritize safety. Of the 300 or so procedures that we have, there are 66 which were due to expire on the 10th of April. And what we have done is that we have now separated those procedures into two categories. The first category is procedures that relate to the large airports. And that would be OR Tambo, Cape Town, King Shaka, David Stuurman, King Paulo, and Lanseria, as well as George. So that is the first category. And there are 35 flight procedures that are covered in that category. And we don't think that these will all be ready by the 8th of April. And so we are submitting to the Civil Aviation Authority an application to give a limited extension on the alternative means of compliance for these 35 priority procedures. And the intention of doing that is to ensure that we can continue to use instrument procedures that are currently being flown for these airports. And then what we would need to do is that with regard to the other airports, which is Polokwane, Richards Bay, Uppington, Mangaung or Bloemfontein, Umtata and Kruger, we would then need to apply for a longer-term alternative means of compliance so that we can ensure that we submit these flight procedures by later in April and in May.
An intervention team was put together in December last year to address the challenges at the ATNS, and 4 key areas were identified, including critical staff shortages.
We have advertised for air traffic controllers, flight procedure specialists, air traffic instructors, and all other categories of skilled staff. And what we can share with you is so far we have appointed 2 former ATNS officials that would be dealing with air traffic navigation, and they are currently undergoing validation. And this week we are making offers to 13 other personnel. 4 will be in approach radar, 4 in approach, 5 in radar, 2 in approach procedures. And all of these people will obviously have to serve their notice in their current jobs, and then they will have to undertake the assessment in July, and they will go through validation, and we expect that they will become operational by November. So we are quite excited that we have been able to identify these 13 persons. But I think we did indicate previously that because of the complex validation procedures that we have to go through, they won't be operational immediately. Currently, we do want to recruit 10 instructors. We've interviewed 4 candidates so far, and we haven't managed to find anybody suitable. But there is an international headhunting process which is underway.
And that report into how the ball was dropped seems imminent.
Ideally, we expect to get a report in 4 to 6 weeks, but we don't want to obviously hinder that process. It is not something that one wants to have delayed inordinately, but it will be premature to talk timelines at this stage.
Criselda Lewis, SABC News in Johannesburg.